is the start of the Grand Canyon trip, waiting for the coach outside the Trump Hotel. You can see how my hands are shaking from the cold. It's freezing. Beautiful buildings. Still going through Vegas. See some of the other hotels around the place. Casinos, I should say, I guess. This is the strip. It's huge. One of the billboards.
In the park. We're going to be climbing
on the road,
more than 6,000
going towards
feet
Grand
high.
Canyon.
It's a high elevation.
Refreshments.
The oldest casino in Vegas.
Because until around 2001, there used to be a set of railroad tracks very near here, but the train doesn't travel here anymore.
Flags are at half-mast because of the shooting yesterday. There's people in the LA Club.
Nevada. This is one of only 2 locations in Nevada where gambling is illegal. The other is Panaca. Remember, we just talked about 6 companies ruling the new Boulder City? 6 companies did not want the evils of gambling or liquor interfering with the welfare of the workers or their productivity. So in addition to the lack of gambling, there was no booze allowed here either. It was left up to Las Vegas to reel in the workers with all of the evil vices.
This is Boulder City. There's through the dam in front of us.
And promptly fired all
You
of
can just
them.
see the water.
The workers were told to collect their belongings, their paychecks, and get off the property. The workers that didn't leave were
This is just
evicted from
outside
the camp
Boulder
a few
City.
days later. About the same time as the workers
Amazing
ran out of
geography
money,
here.
the desire to strike was gone. It took a total of 8 days for it to end. But it was not without some wins for the workers.
Very dry.
They did get more. At the peak of construction, more than 5,000 workers were involved in the project. Railroads into southern Nevada were a constant source of supplies for the dam. In addition to all of this, a special city was being built close to the dam site to house workers of the project. It must have been an incredible sight for the workers to see the dam start to fill when construction was complete in 1936.
This is coming to the bridge, which actually goes across a huge canyon. You can just see it on the side there.
Alright folks, for those guys who are upstairs, look to your right hand side. Downstairs you can see, you gotta climb up. This is one of the longest rivers on the west coast. This is the famous Colorado River. It is more than 1,400 miles long and it goes through 7 states, which is Colorado, Wyoming, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Nevada, and the Gulf of California. Right here on the left hand side, that's the view of the dam. So on the way back, I'm gonna get close to the right line, that way you can see it. But those guys who are downstairs, you might be climbing up to see the view of the dam on the way back. Alright, here we are in Arizona. You're not gonna see any grassland, anything, for the next 70 miles. There is nothing here. This is like volcanic area. They say about a million years ago, there was a volcanic eruption around this place, and there's shape of the volcanoes all over the place, both sides. And you might gonna notice there's a couple of bridges along this road. And that's not for cars, that's for the animal. There's some desert animal who live both sides, and it goes over the bridge to get some water to the river.
And think about how that rock got there in the first place. The oldest rock that is exposed in the canyon is at the deepest depths of the floor, and that rock is 2 billion years old, or about a third of the age of the Earth. That rock is called Vishnu Schist, and it's thousands of feet deep. It's made of sediment like mud, ash, and silt, which was mixed with lava or metamorphosed to form a much harder rock than is normally found from sediments. The rock at the bottom layer of the Grand Canyon was once thought to be part of a huge mountain range that was pushed up as high as the Rocky Mountains by the forces of colliding tectonic plates. Over the 2 billion years since these mountains were formed, they've been ground and worn away, and more rock has formed on top of this hardened base layer. Where exposed, the Vishnu Schist is seen as a dark gray or even black colored rock. Most of the rock above that base was formed as layers. Depending on who the geologist is, there might be as many as 40 different layers, and it's entirely possible that some surface layers have been completely washed away and we see no evidence of them anymore. So where do these layers come from? The layers were built on top of each other during periods when this landmass was repeatedly drowned under shallow seas and oceans, then exposed and dried out, and then covered by sea again in a cycle that occurred many times over many millions of years. This forms layers of different types of rock: shale, sandstone, limestone. Limestone tends to form as the water comes in. Shale and sandstone form when the water retreats and the surface dries out. So now you have an idea of how those beautiful layers we will see were formed.
This is coming into the small town of Kingman, which is on the way to the Grand Canyon. Caesar's Palace and some of the other casinos in the strip. There's the Eiffel Tower, Cosmopolitan. Just give you an idea of how big Caesar's Palace is. This whole area is Caesar's Palace. It's huge. Walls. And there's more.
Stories about being injured as a child to create that unusual voice. In one story, he claimed to be running around with a curtain rod in his mouth when he fell and it actually punctured the roof of his mouth. That's a bit of an odd scenario to make out, but I think my favorite quote from him was that he said, "I have the same vocal cords as Bing Crosby, only Bing Crosby's are in tune." It certainly didn't hold him back, and he went on to act in 400 movies, plus working radio and television. He found a niche in westerns, working with John Wayne and on some movies that have become classics over time, including Stagecoach and The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance.
Scenery around
As a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, since
Kingston.
here in Kingman is where he grew up. There's
First bus, yeah, we're gonna leave this for like
This is the
10:45.
famous Route 66
I
we're
think
on
your
right
phone
now.
has already
We only
changed
go
the
about
time.
100 yards with that.
You know, Arizona never changed the time. Nevada went back like an hour behind.
Flag flying at half-mast because of the shootings yesterday in California. Very tragic. 13 people shot dead. Heading out on the road to Phoenix and the Grand Canyon, of course. On the roads are long and straight. Rattlesnake Wash. There are lots of rattlesnakes here. And lots of policemen as well. Very rugged terrain. That's an interesting thing to look at. That's a tiny car, isn't it? Wow. Cute. Vegetation is very sparse. And to get our bearings, let's see what this sign says. DW Ranch Road.
Guys, you're free to do what you like. It's a lot of money. I'm staying here. He's trying to buy his way out. What did you guys get, a group rate or something? So do you make a
Really hilly country going through this area. Would hate to get lost here, that's for sure. So remote. See, the vegetation is changing now. There are quite a few bushes scattered right around the entire countryside here. Quite large bushes too, and some trees as well. This is very, very remote. Those amazing rocks. We're coming over the crest of a hill, and there you can see the scenery below. Well on our way to Phoenix in Arizona. be more rain here because the vegetation is certainly getting thicker than it was a few miles back. It's quite extraordinary scenery actually. Getting very close to the town of Stegman, and look at that scenery below. Wow. This is deep in Arizona now. Town of Seligman, out in the middle of nowhere. We're about 100 miles to the Grand Canyon. Whoa, a bit of a bumpy road at the moment. And they're saying Seligman Historic District. Very pretty out here. Rugged mountains over there in the background. See how dry it is here. And again, these amazing rocky mountains that just appear. Right? Very straight road. At least we know where we're going. Interesting geographical display over there on the road. You can see the different layers happening. There's a hell of a lot of this when we get to the Grand Canyon, but it represents different ages, different events that have happened in the earth. Quite incredible. Sudden change in vegetation as we get close to the Grand Canyon exit. See all the trees around here. Haven't seen tall trees for a long, long time, that's for sure.
Guys involved in deposit 6 bags with some small elevator. The elevator will rise to the gauges. 3 of your guards.
Still very dry, but certainly a lot more vegetation here.
If there's any indication the switch has been made. Put money in the bags and money in the vault. Report everything is safe. Back, stay in your hotel. Rest assured.
Yep, that's snow.
Yes, sir. I'm looking at the trees now.
Right in the background there. Still about 60 miles to go to the Grand Canyon.
No, it doesn't.
It's one hell of a long journey. It's 450 miles each way from Vegas. This is Grand Canyon Road, and there are quite a few little settlements on the way to the Grand Canyon. This is called Kaibab National Forest, and that looks like a bit of mining up there on the hill. Getting closer to the Grand Canyon, but still a way to go. Isn't that a beautiful view? Very different type of vegetation here. Sort of like very spiky type of bushes. I guess that you could call them small trees as well. Quite a busy road, as you can see. gives you an idea of the scenery as you approach the Grand Canyon. We're about 36 miles from the southern rim of the Grand Canyon, and that's our destination, so we're getting quite close now. But it's very flat in this part of the Arizona.
You see, like the canyon is on fire. There's smoke in the canyon, folks. Alright, this is one of the second and smallest town here in Arizona. This is by Arizona. There's some airplane right here on the left hand side from the World War II, and they do have one of the nicest park here. There's schools all over the place. They do camping here every year. I think some of you guys still remember those cartoons, the Flintstones. You can just sleep in the bedrock here. There's Arby's. There's some replicas also right here on the right hand side about the Native American, the way they used to fight back in the old day with the arrows, hawks, right here on the right. Here they are, right in the bull, the horses. And they do mix the buffaloes here in this town with the cows. There's a couple of buffalo. There's a corral right here on the right hand side. They used to be all the way here, but now they put in the corral because they're so strong. They're laid down. See, there's a big buffalo and a white and the brown one. I don't know if you see on the right. All right, I have 20 more miles to get you guys to our next stop. I do have one guess with the orange wristband, and I got 11 guesses with the brown wristband. 11. So in the next, let's say 20 minutes, I'm just gonna make a quick stop, at the airport. I'm just gonna drop one of my guesses at the airport. Hopefully he's on this bus. Does anybody has any orange wristband on this bus?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
It looks like the canyon over there in the distance. You can just see that rocky face. It's quite bushy over here. We're going to the airport to drop someone off, and they're taking the helicopter. Those are some of the helicopters that fly over the canyon and in the canyon. Quite a few of them here. This is approaching the Grand Canyon National Park. Tosayan, whatever that is. I guess it's the little town. Very busy little town. This is coming into the Grand Canyon main entrance. You can see you've got a person in that booth, and they're going to charge the coach for coming through. Lots of tour buses and RVs here.
See deers, elks. There's a lot of baby deers and elks in the park. There's plenty of squirrels also in the park. Plenty, and people feed the animals. Even though there's signs, there's one right here, look. Not to feed any animals in the park. Not this one, I think the next one. Look at those piles. Remember what I said about those piles? There's, just in case if there's fire in the canyon, those piles hold the fire on the ground. From here all the way inside to the canyon, there's piles all over the places. That way they don't, big trees, they don't get burned. So, you guys want to stop at the first view? My guest who took the helicopter ride, she said it's amazing. Yeah, she loved it. Yeah, seeing the canyon by helicopter. Oh, it's, it costs like $240 when you got here. I think there's some animals right here on the left hand side. Get your cameras ready because I think there's animals here on the left. Oh yeah, look at the elks. Right here on the left hand side, look. There's one right here on the right too, look. See it? Look at the right, both sides, right and left. Alright, welcome to the Grand Canyon, folks. In about probably 6 more minutes, you will be seeing the canyon for the first time. And remember, you will be walking, make a quick left, and that's the canyon. And if you pass the sign, you ended up right here on the right hand side. If you are right here, that means you gotta find a way to get back to our buses. And there's not too many buses here, big buses, just little buses here. Let's see if I get a park. Oh wow, there's no parking.
And here it is, the Grand Canyon. God, it's cold here. It's about 4 degrees Celsius. So my hands are shaking like mad. You can see all the people here.
Okay, I'm shooting. Yes.
Is it recording?
Yes.
Okay, here I am at the Grand Canyon. Okay, thank you. Just press that button again and it should start.
Okay.
Grand Canyon. Pretty amazing. These rocks carved out of time. Okay, just another view of the Grand Canyon. Look at that rock just hanging on the edge there. This is absolutely phenomenal. You can see why it's one of the great wonders of the world. Look at all those layers. It's just incredible. Now we'll go and have a look at the other lookout spot.
I know it's not your responsibility, but at least you who's next to you. Down here, downstairs, I can see all all your faces, but upstairs we used to have cameras to look upstairs, but we don't have no cameras out there, just downstairs.
There's a guy missing. This is going through the park, and we're going to the next viewing point. Isn't it beautiful? Look at that. The sun through the trees. Beautiful.
There's a way to get back here to this view, but there's the shuttle buses. They don't charge anything because you got the wristband. So, but they have to go to the visitor center and ask the bus driver if they come to the Bright Angel Lodge. That's the name of the view you will be seeing in a few minutes. So, but if we go to different places, so that's how people messed up the whole day for everybody in any tour bus in the canyon. Some people take the shuttle bus and they don't know the canyon.
Isn't that beautiful?
And get nice pictures. Look at the trains leaving, folks.
Ah, yeah.
Train go back to Williams. That was the only way to see the canyon from 1901 to 1926. It's leaving. It's going back to Williams. There's a lot of tour buses. They drop their people in Williams and they hop in the train. This is the first one right here on the left.
A little cabin.
Come down. This is the ramp right here on the right hand side. This is the stairs. This is the train station. This is the oldest hotels, almost 100 years old. So nice. They got pictures, all pictures inside. You can go in the lobby if you want to. All this area. This is the right hand side if you walk to your right. Just make sure, please, how much time you walk, please.
The Grand Canyon train.
And before everybody get up for the bus, I just want to walk, double check in on top because I'm sure that I'm missing one.
This is the other scenic viewpoint and the south side of the Grand Canyon, and you can see how magnificent it is. Look at that going right up there. The Colorado River is right down in the middle of that. Bloody cold here. It's about 4 degrees Celsius and I didn't dress warm enough. Absolutely amazing. Look at those layers. Absolutely incredible. And there's this quaint little stone house here, which I'm going to God, I'm shaking. Just another view. Look at that down there. It's over 1,000 meters below me. Look at the little river. Oh God, it's cold. This is the canyon from another viewpoint. I'm actually at that little lookout tower now, and it's a bit warmer than it was on the ledge. Isn't that gorgeous? So peaceful here. I saw a couple of condors earlier. They were flying majestically above the canyon. So many Western movies have been taken in this. Here comes the cold wind. Yep, it's more of the Grand Canyon, but a different viewpoint. And it's absolutely stunning. Look through that tree there. See the river below. You can see how sheer the cliffs are here. They're pretty well straight down. Just to show you how steep this cliff is, look at that. They've got tracks all over the place here, but wow, isn't that incredible? Look at that. You could so easily just bump someone over the edge here. Look at these walls.
But it's down there forever. So you leave it up here.
Just straight down.
But you're
Looking down below me.
risking somebody.
Wouldn't be good to fall down there, that's for sure. What an amazing place. It's about 4 p.m. in the afternoon and the sun is starting to set. You can see the shadows falling on that cliff behind and the glory of the canyon behind it. Well, this is one thing I can chop off my bucket list now. Absolutely magnificent. So peaceful. This country really reminds me of the old John Wayne movies and the westerns. Remember the westerns with John Wayne riding his horse and shooting off his six shooters? You can actually see the shadow moving on that rock as the sun sets. Isn't that extraordinary? There are the shadows starting to increase as the sun goes down. Deep in the valley there. This is the southern rim of the Grand Canyon. Okay.
I was telling him about the Navajo rug 30 years ago.
This is the Grand Canyon again.
The Indians run the little museum.
And you can see the incredible
One is
shadows
$79.99.
going down.
It's $49.99. And I'm thinking, yeah, they were made in Hong Kong.
It's now about 4:30 in the afternoon, and it's just absolutely magnificent.
It is beautiful. I believe it's the prettiest right now.
Yeah.
You ought to get a picture of the hotel right there.
Yeah, I am. It's also very pretty from up there.
Okay, this is another view of the Grand Canyon as the sun sets. Isn't that beautiful? You have no idea how huge this is. It's absolutely huge. This is one of the most beautiful places. That's a little restaurant area. There's like a house running off it. And it's about 20 to 5 in the afternoon, I suppose. The sun is setting now. But the Grand Canyon is just over there. And they're the couple I've been talking to. Very nice couple, they're American. Look at these beautiful deer. This is at Grand Canyon.
That one with the horn, lay down. That's the boy. It's a cute. Look, it's a cute boy. Got it? Lay down.
Oh wow.
He got up like. You see now he was on a fight because he got one broke.
That's elk.
Alright.
And now we're heading back to Vegas. 5-hour plus journey ahead of us. We'll probably get in about 10:30 tonight. And thankfully they're driving me to the hotel. So I'll sleep in tomorrow morning, I think. Been a beautiful day. Now, a few things about this trip. I was fortunate enough to get a priority seat right at the front, which is why I've got such great vision on the video camera. It costs an extra $30 on top of the fee to come out to the Grand Canyon. And the fee to come out to the Grand Canyon is $99. and it's worth every cent. Except the trip here and the trip back is a bit lengthy, but the scenery's good. Couple other things about the Grand Canyon. It gets really cold. We're in early November and it's just above freezing around the rim of the canyon. So dress really warmly. In summer, in July, August, it gets up to 110. So you strip down to just about nothing. So they have extremes of weather here. What else can I tell you about the Grand Canyon? It's got most magnificent views. It's got helicopter rides. They're quite expensive, about $200. But when you think about it, you take over 5 hours to drive here, and you have about 2.5 hours actually observing the Grand Canyon. So it's a huge amount of time just to be able to do that. But it's still worth it. One of the casinos on the outskirts of Vegas, Hoover Dam Lodge. And heading off back into the darkness. Vegas is about 25 miles away now. It's about 8 p.m. That's the strip over there. Vegas, you can see the tall buildings. Quite a view from up here as you come into Vegas.